On today's episode, we are joined by Vincent Malizia, owner and chief culture officer of A1 Roofing. A1 Roofing is one of the largest roofing companies in the state of New York. Today, Vince shares how he got started in the roofing business and transitioning to commercial work from residential, how he values the quality of his employees' experience at A1 Roofing as a differentiator for his company. Vince will also share why you want to be behind him in line at Dunkin' Donuts. Please enjoy this episode of the Advo-Cator podcast. We're with Vince Malizia today from A1 Roofing. Vince, tell me a little bit about A1 Roofing. Who are you guys? What do you do? Where do you do it?
We're a commercial roofing company located in Long Island, New York. We cover the tri-state area, and we focus on repairs, waterproofing, maintenance, reconstruction, and full new roof systems. So my parents started the business in 1981 with a residential roofing company servicing Long Island and Maine and Suffolk County. As kids, my brother and myself always wanted to work, so we started when we were teenagers, just cleaning up garbage on job sites. And as we went to college, we stayed local so we can continue to work.
Thanks for joining the Advo-Cator podcast. Stay tuned for more on how Vincent Malizia from A1 Roofing went from hating school to embracing learning every day, how mentors have been so pivotal in his journey up until now and how they continue to do so, and how learning from his mistakes and the value of hard work have shaped who he is today.
And as time went on, we got used to the money, we enjoyed the work, so we kind of stuck around. And then when we were about in our mid-20s, we wanted to grow into the commercial market. So that's what we did. We made a push into the commercial market, and we've really had a lot of success with the commercial market.
Interesting. Any other family members besides two we got?
It's my brother, myself, and then my father's, still
That's good.
around. Yeah,
Good to have your dad around.
100%.
And as that progression went on and you started to make that progression into commercial and you and your brother started to kind of take a lead, what was that at a high level? What was that transition like, for you and your brother and your dad?
Yeah, it was hard because my dad only knew residential and he really wanted us to stick with just residential. But we wanted more. We felt like if we were all involved residential, we would never get off the roof if we stayed in the residential market. So it was a lot of learning as we went. It was tough. You made a lot of mistakes. Cost you a lot of money. A lot of people doubted us. When you would pull up to commercial job sites to bid the work, other contractors would say, those guys are only residential. Fast forward a few years, and now when my trucks pull up to residential, they tell the homeowners, oh, those guys are only commercial. So they're always going to talk about you no matter what, which I guess is good, right?
Yeah.
It means that we're doing something right. But yeah, we learned a lot of lessons. We made a lot of mistakes, but we stayed true to what we really wanted to do. We believed in ourselves, and we stayed true to our word for our clients. And now I would say we're probably one of the largest commercial roofing contractors in the tri-state area. And as far as residential goes, we're also one of the largest on the land.
So I've heard you say that building relationships and building trust with your customers is really number one for you. But, how did you come to that conclusion? Like, what would have been the experience that you had that kind of made you, really want to focus that back?
In the beginning, when we were transitioning into commercial, we were working for a lot of people, and some that were not great people. They would treat our staff very poorly. They would treat our field mechanics poorly. They didn't speak to us the nicest way. So in the beginning, we did what we had to do to get our name out there and to keep our crews busy. But as time went on, we really started leaning on some of our core values. We wanted to make it a point not to just have core values on our wall. We wanted to actually use them. And I would say in the past 2 or 3 years, we've hired and fired a lot of people that way. We brought on new clients or had to let some clients go based on our core values, because at the end of the day, it's all about respect. and good relationships. If we're going to have to come to work every day, we want to deal with good people.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to deal with people that are going to treat us poorly or I have to worry about that I can't trust.
Yeah.
So we made a decision company-wide to say, we're going to lean on our core values and we're going to make decisions that are going to benefit the company and our relationships.
Not easy to do sometimes.
Not easy to do. We've walked away from some clients that, generated a lot of business for us. And I'm talking in the millions range. And we just said, you know what? We'll get it somewhere else. And that's what we've done.
Not easy. Credit to you guys to be in that position, because when anybody's starting a business, myself, yourself included, you take almost any business.
Yeah.
And then you get to a place where you just know it doesn't have a long-term fit for you.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as like working remote, COVID obviously drove that, I think, for most businesses. But we felt that it was actually, I can say personally, I can be very productive at home. When I'm in my office, constantly, my doors people are always stopping in. Now I think you're cool.
Stopping into that.
So I do find when I spend some time at home, it's like you're so focused. So we said, our company would go, I think it's fair that everybody works from home 1 day a week, and it breaks up the week for them. And so that was that portion of it. As far as flexible schedules, we realize that everybody has kids. Most families have 2 people working. So it's hard, getting the kids on the bus, off the bus. You have field day, you have field trips. And we said, moving up ceremonies, we want our staff to be able to enjoy that stuff just as we do. Why is it fair that the owners can come and go to their kids' events, but you can't? And what we said was, if we prevented them from doing these things, they're going to have animosity towards us because it's like, hey, I miss these memories with my kid. So we encourage our staff to go to the events of their kids or their spouse, or whatever they have to do, without obviously them taking advantage. We want them to enjoy it. So that was a big part of that. And then the Culture Club was created because, we have the owner's perspective, but we want the perspective from our staff, right? Where can we be better? What can we do? And it's been phenomenal. We meet once a month, about an hour, and we plan events for the year. And it could be something small. This past Friday, we just did a Cinco de Mayo celebration. And it was simple. It was here. We had some nice traditional Mexican food. But we have also planned overnight retreats, holiday parties. I handwrite birthday cards every month for my staff, which, you think like, oh, do they really care? They'll call me, text me like, hey, boss, I got your birthday card. It really made my day. So it's these little things that hopefully make a difference with our employees that can turn them into brand ambassadors.
Now, obviously, I think any leader's business or a brand of any type would agree that there's nothing better than having other people that say your story for you. But I'm curious how you got there. Like, what made you and your family, obviously the business has evolved over time. I imagine if it's anything like, the construction companies that I've worked for, it didn't start that way.
Yeah.
And couldn't start that way. Like, how did you land there? I'm thinking if I'm another business owner, if I'm, one of our clients, I'm thinking, man, yeah, it sounds great, but how'd you land there and how has it worked for you?
Yeah. So, first of all, it's all about small changes, right? And I always have that mindset with everything, right? You need to lose 20 pounds. It's not going to happen by tomorrow. So you have to have small steps, small goals that will eventually get you to your big goals. With our business, we started changing things from the day we took over. And some of them worked out really well and some of them didn't. And some of them cost us a lot of money. But our motto this year is we want to constantly be learning and growing. We don't want to be comfortable, right? We're constantly looking for change. How can we be better? Changing software systems, changing policies, changing procedures. We don't want to be stagnant. So that's really the approach that we've taken with our company. And how we got there was, again, working in this business, working in this field. People would always say, oh, you're a roofer? You're a roofer? They looked at you like you were below them. And funny thing was I drove one of the dump trucks and people, again, they looked at you like just a roofing company, or just a roofing guy, you know. So we wanted to change people's mindset, change their what they thought of who we are. So that was also a big part of it. So we wanted to make this. We're not just a roofing company. We're an organization, and we're an organization that we provide for a lot of families here, but we also are heavily involved in giving back to the community. We recently launched our own nonprofit, A1 Cares, and we're not going to just come ask you to cut a check. We want you to also make a difference in the community, right? So listen, raising money for these local charities is great. We recently just ran pizza night for a local guy that came down with brain cancer, 43 years old. The entire community came out just based on us promoting some stuff on social media, and we raised over $35,000 for this family, right? So we're all about giving back to the community, giving back to our employees, our clients, and knowing that, hey, I worked for a great company, and I'll let people come up to me all the time that, you know, a lot of them work for the government or teachers or whatever the case may be, all different. They go, I wish I worked for your company. You know, you guys, I see all the stuff that you're doing for your staff and the community. It's amazing.
That's a help company.
Yeah. So, you know, listen, we're looking to grow our business, but at the end of the day, we want to make a difference on the community. We want to make our staff better. We want to make our clients better. Yeah. We want to help those in need.
The Advo-Cator Association. Calling all small and mid-sized businesses. The Advo-Cator Association helps you cut costs, improve safety, and grow smarter. Through education, advocacy, and exclusive member benefits, please visit us at theadvocatesssociation.org. Our members are saving on things like health insurance, auto insurance, workers' comp insurance, auto fleets, legal, accounting, software, IT services, building supplies, and more. Again, please visit us at theadvocatesssociation.org to find out more and to join.
Most businesses don't continue to pass on to their families, but you never know the future. Less about, you know, whether this would or wouldn't be the third generation. I'm just more thinking about put yourself in the feet of your daughters. If your daughters are running the company 30 years from now, and you know you're in that first week or that first month of that first year, what would you want them to know? Meaning, what was a lesson that you wish you learned earlier that 30 years ago somebody said to you that you could say in your
parents? I think the message would be, you got to work hard every day, and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail, but that's okay. Like, that's going to make you who you are. You're going to learn from your mistakes, and that's going to help you to grow the business. It's going to help you to be successful. I don't think there's any business owner out there, any successful business owner, that has not failed at some point in their careers or in their lives. Like, that's reality. We're not meant to be perfect. And I look at this not even as a business owner, but also as a father. I make mistakes all day long. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, like, I promote a lot about being a good father, a good boss, but the clear message is, like, I'm not perfect, right? So I might have a mission or a mindset or a post on LinkedIn. I'm working on it too. I have 3 kids. Sometimes you're just tired, you're cranky, and you say or do things that are not what you want to do, but it happens. But the point is, it's all about progress, not perfection, right? Each day, as long as I'm getting better each day, that's all I focus on. I don't look back where I did yesterday. I look at the future and how I can be better. And there's an old saying that says, if you look in the rearview mirror long enough, eventually you're going to correct it. Start looking forward. So,
yeah, like, if you're always looking behind you, all you get is a stiff neck.
Yeah.
You wanted to look forward. It was interesting because I was listening to a podcast, and Simon Sinek is an author I also read a lot. And one of the conversations he was having was with someone who was talking about how, sometimes you're running a business, you're starting a business, whatever it is, and you've got to be good at something in order to have the confidence to want to go build a business or start a business or start a book or start a podcast or whatever it might be. And the person interviewing said, I don't think I'm really good at anything. I just think I'm okay. The difference for me, I think, is that I'm just always trying to learn and get better. and I expect that there's always somebody who's a better athlete than me, or a better businessman, or a better author, or whatever it might be. But I don't need to be the best, because there's always going to be somebody better. It's that I want to be in a constant journey of learning or being better, and I want tomorrow or next week I want to be a better version of ourselves. And to your point, if you're always thinking about the forward and not worried too much about what's behind you, the job that you didn't get, the job that didn't go well last week, the interaction with a customer or an employee didn't go your way, looking backward, you're going to get you very far. What can you learn from it and move forward?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I always look at everything. Everything happens for a reason. We didn't get that job. It's for good reason, right? But, at the end of the day, you just, my message is just work hard. If you work, hard work beats talent every single time. True. I coach girls lacrosse, and I will take the hard work over talented kids any day of the week. If they have a good attitude and they want to come and put the work in every day, that's what I want. The ones that are going to hustle and not give up. The ones that are talented, they're great. That's great. But if you have a poor attitude or you don't want to work, I don't want that on my team.
Yeah.
I want people that are willing to learn, grow, and put in the effort.
That's I think translates to work. Translates to work. I know some people who won't hire people from their industry because they believe they come with bad habits from that industry.
Yeah.
And they actually look for people who didn't start in the industry so they can be the beginning of really what that taste is, and not have any bad habits, so to speak.
Yeah, for us, it's rare that we'll bring in, especially on the sales side of our business, like people like, oh, I got 20 years sales. I don't want that.
Man.
Like, we want good people. I don't want somebody sitting at your house for 6 hours, trying to close a deal, pressuring you. Mm-hmm. That's not who we are. I don't like to be sold that way.
Yeah. I wonder, do you get a lot of questions from, colleagues or vendors or people kind of in your world? Is there a common question that comes your way on a regular basis?
And in regards to what?
It could be about how you run your business, how are you handling accounts receivable, accounts payable? How are you handling the financial, times we're in right now, or times are tight and maybe a lot of people owe you money? Like, are there common questions that people are asking?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily common questions, but when we go to like a lot of industry events or industry-related events, typically you'll always have same issues coming up, right? It's a lot of it's labor, like how are you dealing with the labor? Your receivables are always important, right? Are you staying on top of your receivables, especially when times get tough? That's typically when, some of the industry leaders will tell us, like, especially in the legal field, stay on top of your collection and this stuff. But I think for the most part, a lot of it's, how are your sales? What's your pipeline? How's your labor looking and stuff like that? We've always been like pedal on the gas, right? So even during COVID, when there was like hesitation, should we shut down? Should we not shut down? We considered, what was the term there? No, we considered they were only allowing certain companies to work phase and be essential. Yeah, only essential. Mm-hmm. And we would speak to our lawyers who represented hundreds, if not thousands, of roofing companies in the United States, and they basically said, listen, in the gray area, keep working. And if you start getting fined or anything like that, we'll handle that. And a lot of my competition was like, well, we're just shutting down, we're closing the doors. But we're like, well, listen, we're working on hospitals, schools, businesses.
As far as I'm concerned, you're essential.
We're essential. Yeah. So we kept going. That's always been our mindset. Foot on the gas. Don't, you can't run a business scared, right? You got to take risks. Most business owners are risk takers. So when people are staying home or weren't going out, we were still going out. We were still traveling. We're in peer groups. We're on planes. And people are like, go on a plane? But we didn't want to live a scared life. We don't want to run a scared business. We're going to take chances. We're going to take risks. Some of them work and some of them don't, right? So that's always been our mentality. Yeah.
Seems like that might be one of the things that people might ask you. Might be, don't be afraid to take a risk. Like, I'm between this and this. what do you think, Vinny? And
Yeah.
I'm guessing your answer might be, listen, if the downside is so great, go for it. What's the worst thing that happens?
Yeah, what I tell people, if you're getting up every day and you're going to work and you're miserable, if you're not making the money you want to make, you got to take a chance. I see it with people, whether to sell their house and buy a new house, to leave their old job, go to a new job. People are running through life scared. Well, I have this benefit, or I have this pension, or they become comfortable, they become stagnant. And that's not a way to go through life, right? I have friends that, police officers, I only got 15 years left. Hate my job, hate what I do, but I only have 15 years left. 15 years?
Yeah, wow.
You're going to torture yourself for the next 15 years? I get it, it's great benefits, but if you're miserable in any field of work,
Yeah.
you need to move on.
Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You would have spent the next 15 years miserable.
Yeah, and I know people that have not gotten raises at their businesses 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they're afraid to ask. If you don't ask, and again, on my LinkedIn, I just did a post on this, and you don't ask, you will never know.
Yep.
I'm a business owner. I've overlooked it. I've had people work here and maybe have missed a raise or something. If I don't have the review with them, or they don't come and ask me, it's, they don't get it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you come to me and ask, you're going to get an answer either way. You need to ask.
You don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly. But, again, you can't go through life scared. I get it. People are married, you have a mortgage, you have kids. Take the chance. Take the risk, There's just so much more. There's so much more that you can receive. I can just take that chance instead of just sitting scared your whole life.
So, no question.
Yeah.
No question. And I was never a risk taker. I'm a risk management, so I'm usually not taking risks. But it's one of those things that you have to find that fine line to to what works for you. To your point, otherwise you're either miserable or you're afraid of your own shadow and you're afraid of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And nothing's ever going to change if you don't change. Something will change by itself.
Exactly.
Now thinking about, you share a lot of wisdom on your LinkedIn. You shared a lot of wisdom today. Are there people that inspired you? Are there people that you read? Are there podcasts that you listen to? Are there colleagues that you used to speak to? Is it your father? Are there people around you that kind of inspire to help you kind of stay on track and help you feel like and get a clear vision of where you want to go, not just in business, in life, in things in general?
Yeah, so, after I graduated college, I never forget how happy I was. I said to my brother, I go, I'm done. I don't have to study anymore, no more tests. We're done. That's it. And now I laugh. I'm like, man, that was such a stupid thing to say, because I've become so in love with education and all the resources around us. So to answer your question, I have a mentor that I was introduced through my entrepreneurs organization in New York City. And the guy has been phenomenal. It's great. He's retired and ran a great restoration business. And he gives back, right? He doesn't charge me. I meet with him once a month, and he provides a tremendous amount of knowledge. I have a business coach. And then as far as podcasts, books, I listen to every different thing. I'm just constantly looking to hear different aspects and stories and, positive and negative, whatever it may be. But I'm always listening to a podcast or reading a book. And it might not be me reading 30, 40 minutes a day. It's 5, 10 minutes. Just to learn something that day. I got a 30-minute ride, it's all on podcasts. So just every day I'm trying to learn something new, something that can better my business, better my family, and better the community.
It's important, and I agree with you. I thought, I remember growing up in high school, I hated reading. I hated, every time I had a book in English class, I was doing everything I could to avoid it. Back then they had Cliff Notes, you just get Cliff Notes, and now who knows what, my kids can get all kinds of stuff on YouTube. But I find that, there's a necessity. The one necessity in life is to constantly learn.
Yeah.
And if it's, if I'm going to have work done on the house, I want to know what they're going to be doing so I can tell if they're making good decisions or not for the rest of my house or whatever it might be. The one constant is learning. So I think anybody that I've been around that's forward thinking and successful. They're always constantly learning, and that if it's reading books or podcasts or books on paper, whatever it is, and always curious on that because I get good ideas from other people.
Yeah.
This break is sponsored by Navigator Risk Management. Running a business comes with risk, but you don't have to face it alone. At Navigator Risk Management, we specialize in tailored risk management solutions that help you protect what matters most and lower your risk costs, things like insurance and deductibles. We have saved our clients millions in industries like construction and real estate, transportation, healthcare, service companies, and more. Our team helps you navigate challenges by reducing exposures and having custom solutions for your business. Don't wait for a crisis to find the right support. Visit us at navigatorrisk.com and take control of your risk.
I find that other people like it. I usually do too. I'll be the one that invented it. So
I always look at it like this. People work out 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 3 days a week.
yeah,
To get their muscles, working, right? Well, your brain is the same way, right? If you're not using it, it's not going to grow.
right? You lose it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really, again, just each and every day, I just try to do something that's going to help it learn. It could be it could be any type of book or podcast. There's so many resources that we have now. It's just too easy not to.
Yeah. It's interesting how you could spend 20, 30 minutes on any different kind of thing and pick up one really cool thing that you were never expecting.
Yep.
And it's that thing about learning. So it's just an interesting thing, self-discovery thing that I find in myself. I didn't realize that I'm always trying to learn and find purpose.
Yeah.
If you're around it and you want to know it. I guess two more things I'm thinking, Gary. One is when you're looking for someone who you're going to partner with in your life in some way. It doesn't mean a business partner per se, but someone you're going to hire, or a vendor, or somebody that's going to work with your company, or somebody you're going to hire to work at the house. What do you look for in that, or what goes into that decision? Maybe it's definitely not just that they will refer to you or whatever. It's definitely not just price. Like what is something that intangible maybe that helps you decide, this is the company I want to use for this.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I have to be able to trust it. So whether it's working at my house, I have somebody working in my house right now.
Yeah.
I need to know that I can let that person stay at my house and I trust them. We use that same mindset or mentality with our business, right? With the manufacturers, the suppliers. I just want to know that I can trust you if we have an issue, if there's a concern with a client. I just want to know that you're going to stand behind your product, and that's it, right? I just want to know that you got it. I don't want to be sold. I don't want people to telling me all this different stuff. I don't need you to do things for me. At the end of the day, I just need to trust you. And somebody told me something really interesting about somebody they were doing business with. They said, the person is cheating on their spouse. And they said, the person's cheating on their spouse. How can I have them as a partner? How do I know they're not going to cheat on me in my business and stuff like that? So I thought that was really made a lot of sense, right? And I learned a lot on the golf course. When you bring people out golfing, when they start cheating on their score, it tells me a lot about the person that they are. True. Like if you can cheat on something so minuscule that nobody cares about, what else are you doing, right? So again, it's we just try to deal with people that we have a great relationship with, that we can trust, and that we just know that we'll do the right thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn a lot by when somebody tells you the truth for the first time. Believe it. I didn't understand what does this guy mean, and it was really more something like when somebody shows you who they are.
Yeah,
believe it right away.
yeah.
And I remember thinking that, I was in my probably late 20s, and I'm thinking, what could this guy possibly mean? I don't understand. And then I realized that it's when somebody treats other people like that, it's only a matter of time before they do.
Yeah.
It means it's in their DNA. And I can't tell you how many times I've had, if it was customers who would tell me how they would screw over somebody else about it. That's going to be me one day.
Yeah, exactly.
But in my younger years, I would say, well, he would never do that to me. He would, and sure enough, at some point in time, at some point in time, he did. So I think that was going to be my next question. The next question was going to be, what would be one of the things that, lasting impressions or things that you want, the listeners of this to kind of walk away from? And I wonder, if someone shows you who they are for the first time, they'll leave it. If it's a style situation or if it's cheating on the golf course.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It really does. That's who they are, right? It's very hard for people to change. We recently just put a roof on a residential house. We ripped all the plywood off. We were supposed to put down 5/8 plywood. And for whatever reason, the supplier sent 1/2 inch. My guys put down 1/2 inch, put down a new roofs. We found out after the fact. We told the homeowner, and we said, listen, with either discount you this amount of money, or we redo the job. And then he said, I want the job redone. That was a big number.
Yeah.
Right? To go back, rip the entire thing off into an all brand new wood. But we did it because at the end of the day, we made them safe.
Yeah.
And we used that mentality. We said, listen, this is who we are. And we don't want people going out bashing us, right? We made a mistake. It's unfortunate, but now we have to go back. It's going to cost us a lot of money, and we have to fix it. And that's what we did. And we always look at it as, now, that guy could have, if you don't go back and fix it, he's going to rip your company to everybody he knows for the rest of his life. He's going to have the worst taste in his mouth. But if we go back and it costs us $20,000, $30,000, whatever it costs us, he's going to praise him. These guys made a mistake. They came back and they redid everything 4 foot. So you just hope that like those things that you do will pay off. And I think they do. I think there's no question that they do. But again, that's our roof-related issue. But we just, doesn't matter what it is. We just want to do the right thing, because it's always going to come back to. I was flying home from Naples, Florida, with my wife and kids, and it's always tough to get receipts together. But we had 3 and 2. And this guy comes up to my wife and he's like, I'm on the window, but I'm too big. Can you move in? And I was like, yeah, this guy's making my wife's like, okay. So I'm like, well, we're going to be passing stuff back and forth for the kids. And the guy's like, oh, don't worry about it. I don't mind. But I was annoyed, right? And as I start talking to this guy, he owns a funeral home in Hempstead. I put the roof on his funeral home.
No way.
A few years ago, right? And so it's like, you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to come across. If I was a jerk to this guy, yeah, I would have been like, well, who the hell are you? And next thing you know, I did his group, right? So you just never know who you're going to cross paths with. So it's just, you never know who's watching, who's looking, who knows who.
For sure.
You just want to know that you're doing the right thing every day.
Do the right thing. It's because it's just the right thing to do.